Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. But today we're going to talk about the tea in the tax news. All right. So everybody has been hearing about this whole college admission scandal, right? Where we got some rich people that have been totally gaming the system to get their kids into these top colleges. Now, what was funny to me and what was surprising to me is how many people were so surprised and so shocked that this is going on. Like, are you like, seriously? This is the kind of stuff that's been going on forever. It's just now somebody has gotten busted. And because there are celebrities involved, it is really making some serious headlines. Okay. But I didn't even look up until I heard the two words tax fraud. Then I said, oh, let me see what's going on. Okay. So we're talking about the charge of conspiracy to defraud the United States. So what it says, and this is a great article that was in Forbes, you guys. So it says, in the court documents, a principal purpose and object of the tax fraud conspiracy was to allow clients to improperly deduct the cost of bribes from their federal income taxes, thereby to defraud the United States by underpaying federal income taxes. And this was done because the ringleader, what's his name, Singer, right? He directed this money through a fraudulent nonprofit called Key Worldwide Foundation, KWF, and it's registered in California. So he set up this charitable organization of 501c3, and so according to his tax documents, the organization received nearly $2 million in contributions and grants in 2015 and almost double that in 2016. Okay. So, and from this organization, there were donations made to several institutions. We won't go through all the laundry list of those, but the thing about it was, these were not charitable donations. These were actually bribes. But the KWF organization, they also sent letters back to these clients that were paying, that were giving these donations, a letter saying that there were no goods or services exchanged for this donation. This is the kind of letter that you get when you actually give to a legitimate charitable organization. Because if you donate to an organization and you get something in return, it is not a donation. Okay. So that's why it's important to have those letters. So when they got those letters, they then, all these folks involved, some of them, I don't know if it was some of them, all of them, whatever, they deducted this stuff from their taxes. As charitable contributions. That, my friend, is fraud. Okay. So what does this look like? You guys. Now, this is a trip because it's already beyond the fact that you're doing something illegal, but then you're going to take that stuff to your taxes. And if you've watched any of my broadcasts and in tracking any of these cases that are involving taxes, like with Michael Cohen, Paul Manafort, and now these people, I tell you constantly, a criminal case will turn into a tax case in the blink of an eye. And it's often because tax cases are easier to prove. You either took the deduction or you didn't. You either claimed income or you didn't. You either paid taxes or you didn't. There's no in between. Okay. So, let's explain how a charitable donation should look. Okay. So if you donate, let's say $100 to your church. Okay. Then they send a receipt at the end of the year saying, hey, you've donated $100. Thank you very much. No goods and services were exchanged for that. Fantastic. But now let's say that, in that same church that they're selling barbecue dinners, right? And they're charging $20 for these dinners, but the plates themselves are worth $10. Then your donation amount that you can deduct is $10, the value of where you're not receiving a good or service. So you have to subtract what the amount of that goods or service, you have to subtract that amount from your donation. You don't get to write off the whole amount when you're getting something in exchange. You can only write off the amount over and above the value of the goods and services. And so this is also why when you go to your tax professional and you drop these receipts and say, hey, put whatever on there, we can't do that. You, the taxpayer, have to tell us the amount that needs to be applied to your taxes for these deductions, because if we just put something on there, that's fraud, right? We'd have no idea. And then if you also didn't, if you don't actually donate this stuff, that's fraud on your behalf, right? So when you come up and you just like, okay, we're just going to put this in here for charitable donations, that is fraud. Even though it's on a small scale, it's still fraud. And the reason this is such news, like I said, is because you got all of these wealthy people that are involved. Right? So this is this is really, they jumped out of the frying pan into the fire when they claimed these charitable donations on their taxes. Okay. Now, if they had given to this charitable organization and then didn't claim it on their taxes, then that would be one less issue they have to worry about. But you know how we get. We don't want to pay taxes, so I guarantee you a whole bunch of these people claimed these bribes on their taxes and to get the tax deduction. And that is plain and simple fraud. And it doesn't matter when it happened. There is no statute of limitations on fraud. So they mentioned here, I think 2015. So, in real time, that's not exactly that far back. But when you're talking about, hundreds of thousands of dollars and possibly even millions of dollars that are involved in this, when you got to go back and look at the penalties and interest, that's going to rack up real quick. Okay. Because it goes back from when the tax return was due up until the current time. And because this was intentional, that's the thing. It would be different if they didn't know that this was a fraudulent charitable organization. That would be different if they didn't know. Now, if you don't know, then it's not fraud. It's a mistake. But when you know, that is willful and intentional, and that is what constitutes fraud. So it is no surprise that wealthy people game the system. This is not new. I don't know why people, like I said, are like, oh my God, this is just so tragic. No, this has been going on forever, right? It's just that now they've crossed the line. They've crossed the line in that they're doing stuff illegal. And everybody is talking about the federal part. Let's not forget the state, because your state taxes are often, all the state taxes really draw from the federal return. So if you committed fraud on the federal level, you also committed fraud on the state level. Okay, so when the state comes after them, it's gonna be with sharper teeth. States, like I said, when it comes to between the two, the states are like piranhas. Okay, they will come for you, and especially California too, and Massachusetts is another one, because that's where all of this case is being handled, from what I understand. Listen, I lived in Massachusetts. They don't play like that. And neither does California, just for the record. If there is two states that, as far as I know, that don't play, it's those. All right. Just absolutely not. And New York as well. I almost forgot New York, Massachusetts, California. Those are my top three. But even though this is on a on such a grand scale. This happens in little people land as well. Okay. And it's that simple stuff of just writing stuff down in a charitable donation so you can beef up your itemized deductions in order to increase a refund. That is fraud as well. It's just not on as big a scale. And yeah, people get investigated for charitable donations all the time because they're looking at the big picture. You know, if you want to sit there and say, okay, I've donated 50% of my adjusted gross income year after year after year. And then the IRS is going, well, if you're giving away half your money, how are you living? Right? So this is not cheating with charitable donations is not new. Rich people gaming the system is not new. It's just that these folk got caught. And now because they claimed it on their taxes, tax fraud can be proven. Like I said, you either claimed the donation or you didn't. You paid the taxes or you didn't. Or you claimed the income or you didn't. It is just that simple. Al Capone is the most famous one. They couldn't prove none of the other stuff he did. But oh, did they get him on tax evasion. And that's what this is. Okay, so yes, I will be watching this to see what is going on, to see how this whole tax fraud thing, this is some tea, y'all. Y'all know how I get excited when tax stuff be happening in the news. I am such a nerd. I can't help it, but that's what I do. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a terrific day. Thank you so much for tuning into Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish, and you can come here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right. Have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.